The AI world is changing faster than ever, but in the last few weeks, we got a few major releases and a few minor releases that could just give you something you wanted. For example, the GLM5, which is an open source model, recently dropped, and then also MiniMax 2.5 also dropped, which is also open source, along with the other major contributions like Opus 4.6 and Codex 5.3, which has been out for a little while. These new developments have really boosted what you can do with LLMs in the coding world. But today we're just going to be testing out and going over some results for the uh, MiniMax 2.5 model and its overall UI design capabilities for web development. So I'm just quickly gonna create a project. This is basically just gonna be a normal React project, nothing super advanced. Just gonna use TypeScript, simple, and just wait for the everything to download. Shouldn't take long. And yeah, so now that we have it, we can start. So I'm going to be using OpenCode as they actually give out Minimax for free if you want to use it. Um, and I'm just going to get it started and then later, and then we'll go over the specifics, benchmarks, and okay, so this is just a simple prompt, and we're gonna let it plan. So basically, what this prompt says is to create a simple UI interface in 5 different styles, so we can check how good it is at creating UI and how original it is, as many LLMs use templates to create their UI elements. So yes, and then basically what it will do is just create an implementation plan. Everybody is familiar with this type of work, and then I'm just gonna tell it to start. Okay, so while it's building that out, we're gonna go over the release notes and also the benchmarks. So this article was released by Nimax, so we should always approach it with a little bit of skepticism, but it is always good to check out the original sources. So it actually does really well on some of the benches, even competing with models like Codex and Anthropic Opus. So here it beats out OpenAI. So this would be Codex 2.5, just GPT 2.5, 5.2. Um, it beats out OpenAI. Here it almost beats OpenAI, tied with the Opus 4.5, Opus 4.6. Here it outperforms all models. We can probably assume that ChatGPT beat here, and it's pretty solid on all other benches, even beating out a ton of the other models in a few other benches. So this is specifically for coding and agentic tool use. Um, Performance enhancements in coding, and then the other benchmarks we are going to run coding it has good range for even beating out to the DeepSeek in intelligence. Cheers short of GLM5 and Communicate 2.5, which is also another major release. And then it is quite fast if you compare it to Sonnet, and even faster than Communicate, which is already an extremely fast model. The highest being GPT, the open source GPT models. Now, the price is also extremely low compared to the others, beating out GLM5 by a long shot, and also Communicate 2 as much cheaper than Opus and GPT 5.2 on extra high. Now, it is a bit middle of pack when it comes to the intelligence, but and also middle of pack when it comes to the coding index. But it does compete with the other bigger models like GLM5 and Communicate, which is also good. And then the agentic index is really good, beating out GLM 4.7. Now, yeah, so let's check if it's done. Still not done. And so it does perform quite well in most occasions, especially for an open weight model, which is now free on Codex CLI. I mean, on the OpenCode CLI, if you were to want to use it just until something else comes out, you could always do that. Okay, so it is almost done. We're just waiting for it to run the tests, and then after that we can look at what it came up with. So from what I can see, it looks like it's a little less clean than the Codex models usually does or do. Um, but we'll just have to see what the actual style looks like, and as Codex is really bad at styling, specifically. Okay, so it looks like it's done. Now we'll just have to run and see. So I think it was 5173. Okay. Okay, so this is pretty bad. Not gonna lie, neon style is not its strong suit. The text is very kind of distracting, and this. Okay, so not its best attempt, but also not that good. I'm not gonna lie. It's also very bad. Um, this also isn't my favorite. So if and also pretty buggy with this whole. This is the only one that is semi-passable as a web page under under a under the design pair. So overall, I don't love it. I will probably give it a 2 out of 5, maybe even 1 out of 5 for everything. This is really bad. There is no reason to break this up like it did and with this flashing. Yeah, it's just overall not my favorite when compared to something like Opus or Gemini. Yeah, so not the best for UI elements, but I do think it could still be good for other programming, especially if you just want a quick model that doesn't cost you anything, then it is great. Anyway, thank you for watching. Don't get lost out there, and bye bye.